Hi, I'm Marcel, and welcome to me screaming into the void, mostly about books. I am doing a challenge where I read a book from each country of the world, and for Suriname, I read the book The Cost of Sugar by Cynthia McLeod. So Suriname used to be a Dutch colony, and this book is set during the time of when it was a Dutch colony. I think we are in the middle of the 1700s. Very quickly, sort of in the 1700s, and we follow. It's difficult to sort of say who we basically follow, but in short, we follow Sarith, which is this character, and her. Yeah, we follow her. She is the main person. But at the beginning of the book, we have her and we have her stepsister Eliza. Now, both Sarith's and Eliza's father is Jewish. Eliza was born to another mother, so Eliza is Christian. Sarith is Jewish. And their father is a plantation owner. So we follow Sarith and Eliza. As daughters of plantation owners. And this is Mini Mini. Mini Mini is Sarith's half-sister. So they have the same father, which isn't the father of Eliza. It can get a bit complicated in the beginning to understand how all of this fits into one another. But Mini Mini is the personal slave of Sarith. So we are following especially Sarith, who is such a wonderful character to hate. She is self-centered. She is egotistical. One of the first themes of the book is that she sleeps with her sister's husband. And doesn't really regret that at all. She sort of asks, well, why can't I sleep with him? I'm prettier than my sister. And what the book sort of clearly does is that following her and a lot of the other characters in the book, she is in some way symbolically, the way I read it, a stand-in for the white plantation owners. And I like the idea of a representation of it, that the white plantation owners aren't mean, they're just spoiled. They don't harm other people because they like doing harm. They just don't think about anyone else but themselves. And another sort of brilliant theme that I think Cynthia McLeod did very well, in addition to Sarith, that you just love to hate, and you're just following the entire book, wondering, will she redeem herself? Will she redeem herself? In addition to that, you have the subplot of former slaves that are attacking these plantations. And the book does a very good job of sort of very small scenes, small sort of hints to people sort of talking about, oh, they attacked that plantation now, and they attacked that plantation now. And the attacks are coming closer and closer to the people that we are following, and slowly enveloping themselves into the story. So Sarith as a representation of the plantation owners and the use of these former slaves that are attacking the plantations and how that is used throughout the book. Those two things are absolutely brilliant in how this book is written. And there's a problem with books that have a few elements that are just brilliant, because then you get so disappointed with everything else. Now, if you've seen other reviews of this book, the writing itself can be a bit shallow at times. Things just happen. It's not a very big book. And I kept thinking about a book like, what's that book called? Gone with the Wind, which does have a quite similar main character, with the main spoiled daughter of the plantation owners, who is just ruining everything, and you're just following her, wondering, will she redeem herself? Will she redeem herself? Or will she go under? And that is sort of the exciting thing about the book. But if you've seen the book Gone with the Wind, or seen the film Gone with the Wind, the plot is like this big. And something is sort of, you can all, and that's always a discussion you can have. Is it better to have a book where things are sort of shown, where you can sort of go into the emotional journey of everyone, or is it better to have a shorter book where where things are like, oh, now Minimi is in love with this person, and you're like, what? When did that happen? What's going on? because it's like, yeah, now she's in love, and you're like, what happened? And that sort of loses a bit, of course, in regard to the characterizations of, for example, Minnie or Eliza, or any of the other characters, because you don't really see what drives them. You just see things have happened to them. With Sarith kind of being sort of an exemption to that. The other thing that I struggled with when it came to the book, and that is that despite all of the systems being very flawed, and the book acknowledging that systems are very flawed, the only person that is villainized in the book is Sarith. And that sadly makes it a bit flat, because I don't think that the book sort of is going into, oh, it's not about systemic discrimination, it's just a few bad apples. But you kind of end up with that message when no one else is held accountable. Sarith is not a plantation owner. She is the daughter of one, and she marries one. But none of the plantation owners, so none of the men, are villainized the same way Sarith is villainized. And you can see this also in regards to the first plot point that I talked about. So Sarith is going after her sister's husband. He's called Rutger. I don't really know what I'm going to feel about Rutger, because, again, he should have been more villainized by the book than he is, because he is sleeping with his sister-in-law. He is sleeping with Sarith behind his wife's back. And yet the book doesn't really acknowledge the fact that Rutger is doing some vile things. All of the sort of blame, all of the sort of, oh, this is bad, is all put on Sarith as a character. And I'm not saying we shouldn't blame Sarith because she is such a wonderful villainous character. But I struggled with the fact that no one else is being villainized by the book, even when the book is acknowledging that the system is at fault. So there is a very famous quote from this book in regard to in regard to the whole plantations and slavery as an individual problem, so a few bad apples that are just mean, and the system is at fault. And that has to do also with the sort of the title of the book, with the cost of sugar. So I'm going to read you the quote, which is relevant in regard to this, and it's also relevant to the title of the book, The Cost of Sugar. So we are following Rutger. Rutger is the husband of Eliza, which is Sarith's sister. He is a white Dutchman who has traveled to Suriname from the Netherlands, and he is in a sugar plantation, which most of these plantations were, and he has just seen a slave being hurt by a machinery on this plantation. All this time, Rutger had said nothing. He could only look at the hand on the crusher, at the man on the ground, and at all that blood. Only one thought went through his mind: all this for sugar. And a pound of sugar costs 5 cents. 5 cents for a pound of sugar, and how many hands, arms, legs, and human lives were sacrificed for this? He looked towards Mr. Fredling, for whom such a thing was apparently completely normal. For as soon as the victim had been removed from the building, he called another slave to the crusher, saying roughly, "And take more care, you." So here the book is in some ways reflecting on the system of slavery, the system of plantation, and also that if you want something cheap, someone has to pay the price, which were the slaves at this time. So on one hand, the book tries to put this in a larger context, tries to sort of critique the system, but it doesn't really manage to do that if all of the blame is put on Sarith, when none of the plantation owners are villainized in the same level or questioned. Because she does such a good job with Sarith, talking about how it isn't mean, she's just spoiled and self-centered. That's a brilliant interpretation of this. But for this to be a systematic approach, you need to have more than just one character. So a mixed bag, but I'm glad I read it. So have you read The Cost of Sugar? I know there's been a film created by the book. Is it worth seeing? And what other books from Suriname authors can you recommend? Leave your comments down below, and thank you for listening to me screaming into the void.